Hello everybody, BigPlanes here. About a month ago, I published a video that basically went over how I would not be able to build as quickly or do as many large projects as I have in the past due to school obligations and the like. However, that does not mean I am done building, and in this video, I'm actually going to kick off a completely new project, the Boeing 777. Now, I understand this has been on a lot of people's wish lists for quite a while now, and I'm finally going to do it. So I'm going to get into the details about how this project's going to go, my optimistic timeline, and of course, what airline it's going to be. But before all that, I would like to thank my patrons, of course, over on Patreon. You guys have stuck with me over this last month of inactivity, and I really appreciate it. So again, thank you to all of my patrons. You guys make this possible. So, new project, right? First things first, I want to cover really quickly. A380's over here. I am working on it. I'm adding more lights. So that's what's going on over there. And this table is temporary. Once all that's done, that will be moved out of the way. But the main project that I am focusing on right now is a British Airways 777-200. So I knew I wanted to build a 777 because I just sort of have a soft spot for such a large twin jet, and I know a lot of y'all do too, because I keep getting asked in the comments, when are you building a 777? When are you building a 777? In fact, I'm fairly certain that requests to build a 777 were second only to request to build an A380. And obviously, everybody really seemed to like the A380. I very much enjoyed that project. It was a long project. It took almost, 10 months from start to finish, but I enjoyed it, and I'm looking for something a little smaller, although albeit not much smaller, and this is what I've settled with. So it's going to be a British Airways 777-200. Now, I could have opted to do the extended, the stretch version, the 300, but honestly, come on, I'd rather do the short one, especially after such a large project before this. So that's what I've chosen, and the good news here is that, I don't want to say this is going to be a plane that uses recycled techniques and recycled designs, but that's kind of exactly what it is. So not only is it going to be using the recycled fuselage design, or not recycled, we're just going to say repurposed, right? Fuselage design from the 747. I'm also going to be using a ton of leftover pieces that I had from the A380 because apparently, I am not very good at ordering pieces in bulk, and I way overordered for the A380, so I have a bunch of leftover parts that I am going to be using in this. So that somewhat determined my decision to go with British Airways. The other primary factor that determined that I would go with British Airways is I actually really do like the dark blue livery on the bottom. So I wanted to do something a little bit different than the typical all-white airplane. And even though there's still going to be a lot of white on this model, I wanted to mix it up a little and do a British Airways plane. Now, some of you may know that my Concorde is already British Airways. However, the Concorde is in the Landor livery. So this one will be in British Airways' most modern livery, the most recent one. This is going to be an active aircraft, one that they still use. And of course, I will try to make it as accurate on the inside as I possibly can. But let's talk about some of the techniques I plan on using here. So up here at the front, you can see the fuselage cross section. Now, I designed this, actually, a lot of you who've been with the channel for a long time might remember this from a few years ago. This is the cross section, or at least the lower half of the cross section from the Boeing 747, the Air Force One, which is no longer in this room. So I'm going to reuse that because even though it's a little bit wider than it should be, I don't really care. I'm not going to redesign a new fuselage. I'm just going to adjust the scale of the overall aircraft for that. And this is very sturdy and it looks good. It's very durable. This is not going to break. So the design for the 777 is basically going to be the same as for the 747, except I'm going to take this, and this will also be the roof. So instead of having the extended hump upper deck, this will just be flipped over and it will just be a circle, just standard fuselage. Again, I'm going with this because I know that it will work, I know that it will be durable, and I know that I'm not going to run into any wonky part alignments with this. So that's what I'm going with here. For the general width of the fuselage, I'm pretty sure it's 20 studs. I could be wrong about that, but it's around 20 studs, 1920. So I'm just going to round up and go with an even number because that's far easier to build in even numbers than it is odd numbers. Even though I believe the real plane may have been like around 19 feet wide, I'm going to go with around 20 studs. So that's what I'm going on with the fuselage. Again, the fuselage should be fairly simple. It's pretty linear going all the way back. There's not a whole ton of curvage like there was with the A380 and the 747 for that matter. And in terms of the wing, I sort of want to experiment with this a little bit more than I normally would. So those of you who remember the 787, which has not been disassembled, it's just in storage, will recognize the slopes being used here on the wing. However, I want to design it better than I did on the 787 because the 787 ended up being very fragile. It was very difficult to transport anywhere, whereas some of the more conventional designs for wings are much more durable. They're easier to transport, and of course, they're easier to store. So I want to build something that's going to be durable and will actually look good. I want to be smooth, so I'm thinking of using bricks on their side technique for the upper surface and plates for the lower surface. Now, I did some experimenting here, and I've come to the conclusion that these large slope pieces in gray work very well for getting the proper angle on the leading edge, and these 2x2 and height slope bricks here work very well for the trailing edge. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of a Lego engineering here because the studs are facing out here and they're facing inwards here, but I'm sure I can figure that out, and that's what I'm thinking for that. Of course, the dihedral and wing structure on the inside here is going to have to be engineered pretty well because I'm thinking I'm going to use a similar technique as my other large jets, where I'm going to have a beam that runs out here that will support the weight of the entire airplane on the landing gear, and from there the wings will just be free hanging on a wing box structure. So that is my general plan for the wing design, and again, hopefully this project goes fairly quickly. I mean, it should go fairly quickly because, as I said sort of earlier in the video, it's using a lot of recycled techniques. Again, that's not a bad thing. That hopefully means it'll go faster and that it'll be nice and durable, but it is something that I should hopefully not have to spend as much time worrying about, like structure and just overall making sure the thing doesn't collapse like it did with A380. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this. I just wanted to kick this project off. I meant to kick it off a few weeks ago. I've just been busy, so yeah, this is going to be exciting. I'm finally going to do a 777. I did consider doing the new 777X. There are a few reasons I decided not to. One of them being it's much larger, and I do not have enough information about the actual airplane yet to be able to build an accurate model on it. So yeah, this is going to be really exciting. Hopefully in the next week or so I can actually start putting pieces together and start building. I'm most likely going to start with the wing box, build the wings, build forward, and then do the tail like I normally do. So that's it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more, because more is certainly on the way. That's it for this video, and bye for now.